Hi everybody, my name is Abraham Saivisi and this is the installation and maintenance video for the results team. Now the way that we're going to set up our development environment is to use Vagrant, which was a special edition of BreazeHome 5 by Daniel Garcia. So we have the wiki here that describes how it is to use Vagrant in order to set up our environment. So we'll follow the procedure one by one as we are instructed. Okay, so the first step is to install Vagrant in VirtualBox, which you can go to each of those sites and install them. I've already have them installed on my machine, but it's pretty straightforward. You download the specific package depending on the operating system that you have. You run through the installation process, and then you finish that. Then you actually clone the Breeze Vagrant repository. Now the link to the repository is contained here. So we're gonna clone it through the git clone command. I'm just gonna copy and paste this. And so now we have that as Breeze Vagrant. So we've cloned the repository. Now we're gonna fork the main Breeze repos. So that means that we're going to have to go to git.breazehome.com, and I'm going to go through the three main repositories and fork those, and that's Breeze, Appy, Django. We're going to fork this one first. Then I'll fork, this one deals with the backend. Then we're going to fork the front end, Breeze Desktop. And lastly, we'll fork the chats. And these are really the three main repositories that most people working on BreazeHome will be working on. So we'll fork the chat, and now we're all set. So now if we see, we have these three repositories forked. So we're going to go now to the next step. Okay, so let's go to the actual Breeze Vagrant directory that we have, and we are going to run up and Vagrant sh. I'm gonna put in my username here. We're gonna wait for this to run. It could take a little while. Okay, so once that's run, we'll see this error, which is expected, because we'll have to add this SSH key to our Git account. So just gonna copy and paste that. We're gonna go to the Git BreazeHome, which I already was there. I'm gonna go to my settings, SSH keys, add a key. Let's call this Vagrant. The contents is the SSH code that I just copied. Just add a key. Okay. And so we'll run Vagrant provision to set it up again. And put our username. And we'll let this run. Okay, so once we've run that, now let's try running up and SSH again. Okay. This is a good sign. Now we'll see ls, and that means that we're connected to the virtual machine. We're in shared directory, and now we can go to shared /BreazeHome dev. Okay, now over here, that's where we can do the docker compose command. So we'll do sudo docker compose up r. Oops. Okay, so instead of -r, it's actually -t. So we'll run this. We'll wait for this to finish. Okay, so Docker has finished building all of its components. Now we can actually do the compose Docker, we can do a Docker compose ps command. We can see all of the components currently running and where they're running. So for example, desktop, which is the front end, is running on port 9000 localhost. So we can go there and see that our front end is loaded. However, there is a problem here that we're about to see. That is, let's say, right, the reason this shows like this is because there is no data in our local database, no actual properties that we can see. So I know currently the developer of this entire epic, Daniel Garcia, is working on trying to replicate locally some of the real values in the production database. But until then, what we can do, especially anybody that would be working on the results page, which, I mean, at least for us, our team this entire semester has only been read-only access to the production database. We've never had to write anything to modify the actual data of the properties or anything like that. So what we can do for now, for the time being, is to connect to the actual production database. So we have to modify the out-of-box settings to do that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the folder in which we cloned the Breeze Vagrant repository. We're going to go to BreazeHome dev. We're going to open up env. And here we're going to copy the values of the production server. So we replace all of this. They of course might be different depending on what version of BreazeHome we're running and at what point, but these are the values for now. Then once we do that, we rebuild the entire Docker again so that it reloads. Okay, actually, I made a mistake and I had them as I had in my original file, which is export. We don't want export, we just want the regular variables here. So now that we have that, we'll reconstruct. We'll wait for this to finish loading. And as soon as this is done, we should have access to the data in the actual production database. So let's try reloading now. Just wait for it to load up. And there we go. So let's try now. And as we can see, we have access to the actual data of the production server, the actual properties, and we could play around here as we wish. But as we can see, there are no images that we are seeing right now because even the image server that it's accessing is a local one. So we also have to modify the front end settings so that it grabs the images from the production server as well. So we're going to go back to BreazeHome dev. This time we're going to go to Breeze desktop. We're going to go to app settings, and we're going to adjust image URL to be the BreazeHome, API.BreazeHome, and we'll leave this commented out. And so we'll rebuild the Docker once again. And now we see that it's actually accessing the images once those are available, because not all images are available for each of the property listings. For more information, we can take a look at the feature, the user story that deals with that. So finally, just to browse the specific code that is relevant to the results team, we would go most specifically, all of the work that we did, or at least the great majority of the work that we did, was on the front end, dealing with the results page view, which would be in views, results, and here we can modify it as we wish, and dealing with the controller specifically of the actual results page. And this is where the bulk of our domain is, and we can modify things here to see the actual result. And that's basically the gist of it. So we can go back and look at our contact information for the results page team. Our team consists of Hamza Salem, Jose Gonzalez, and myself, Abraham Saivisi. Our product owner is Dr. Masoud Sajjadi, and any questions could be addressed to us or to him. And our wiki is the results page entry of our wiki. Here it's still under development, so the final touches we're still modifying, but here you can see all of our user stories, all of the defects that we added, and our general progression through this project. So that concludes our installation and maintenance video. Thank you so much for watching.